Let's talk about sweep picking. Sweep picking refers to the motion your picking hand makes when doing the technique. Because you're going up and down through the strings in one smooth motion, you're sweeping through the strings. So let's take a major 7 arpeggio for example. In this case, E major 7. And also, if we have 2 notes per string on the lowest string, or the lowest 2 notes, which would be 7 and 11 in this case, I will tend to alternate pick these. So the picking pattern would be down, up, down, 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 hammer on, pull off, up, 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 down. And then we repeat like that. And obviously you can hammer on this, or do alternate picking for both the top and the bottom. Although that does feel a little bit harder. And it's a great way to play arpeggios really fast and get a really cool sound with lots of range in pitch. There are a few things you need to look out for when learning this technique, one of them being that you're sounding out every single note. A lot of the time, beginners will tend to play the bottom part and sound those out, and then play the top part and sound those out, but then in the middle, you kind of just mute it. This can be due to a lack in hand synchronization, or just you haven't got used to the different way of muting when doing this technique. So make sure when you're doing this technique that you're sounding out every single note properly. Another thing you need to look out for is your pick position. You can, but we don't usually, have our pick facing flat to the string, so having our face parallel to the strings. It's much easier to get a smooth and clean sound if we tilt our pick to the side a little bit and use more of this edge rather than the face of the pick. And the last thing I'm going to say that you need to look out for is muting. Not only do we use palm muting when going up through the arpeggio, but we also use our fingers to mute when going down the arpeggio. This can be a little bit hard to grasp and get correct when you're learning it or when you're beginning, so I recommend getting slow and making sure that getting the technique absolutely perfectly and then progress the speed. We can mute with our picking hand by using our fingers, and specifically the pads of our fingers. When we fret, we want to make sure that we are using the tips of our fingers and not the pads of our fingers all the time in every technique. But this does help a lot when doing sweeping, because when we use the tips of our fingers, you'll notice that when I've just picked that, I've also simultaneously muted the E string. Okay, I've posted loads of exercises for sweep picking and progressing in sweep picking on my page, so go check those out.